from IZW, one of the top superstars in the company and a former guest of our show. Aaron Neal is joining us again on the line. Aaron, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic, and let me say it really is an honor for you guys to have me on your show.
Yeah, well, we're happy to have you back. It's a pleasure to have you here, and we got a lot coming up in IZW. There's a big chaotic Christmas show coming up, and you are going to be challenging Double D at that show, so why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Oh, I would be happy to tell you about it. Before I do that, I heard you have a Canadian guy on, right?
Yes, indeed. Peter is my co-host, and he's from Ottawa.
Oh, well, what is it like in Canada with no hockey right now? Is it crazy?
It's on the news every day to start the newscasts. It's daily day 75, and this is what's happened. Nothing. Back to you.
Well, that's fantastic. My heart goes out to Canada. I imagine that's pretty rough. But you know what? You talked about Double D, and then I get a chance to be a 7-time IZW champion when I beat Double D at Chaotic Christmas. And really, it's just a formality, really. I mean, this guy, he's had a great run. Everyone loves the underdog story. You know, that's really great. Everyone loves the movie Rocky, but that's not real life. That's not the way things work. In real life, you know, I'm going to go into Chaotic Christmas. I'm a lot bigger. I'm a lot stronger. I'm a lot better. And I'm going to beat him. And I'm going to beat him bad, and I'm going to take my belt back.
Yeah, that's right. You are the former champion. In fact, I believe when we interviewed you in January, you were the champion at the time. So tell us about that travail, because some people who haven't been following IZW as closely as we have don't know that you lost it between then and now.
Well, if you haven't been following IZW, really, you should be ashamed of yourself, period. There's no excuse for you at all. But you know what? I'm going to let it slide. I'm going to let it slide. You know what? That's fine. I'll go ahead and fill you in, let you know what's going down in IZW. And really the biggest story is, you're right, you know, very, very good observation. You should be a detective. I am no longer the champion as of right now. But what you didn't put in there was I was never pinned, which is funny because I was always, you know, under the assumption that champions generally had to lose. I lost nothing, okay? I lost nothing. There was even a third guy in the match that is in question here where the title changed. I lost nothing. So technically I'm still like the uncrowned champ.
So what we got here is kind of like a situation they had a few years ago in TNA where Christian Cage was never pinned and became a 2-time TNA World Champion without ever losing the title.
Right. It's like TNA. It's really good. So that's
How did I know that was coming? I should have seen. I walked right into that one.
Yeah.
Oh, but seriously now, you didn't lose the title. You weren't pinned for it, but still the belt ended up around somebody else's waist.
Yeah, and that's where the golden boy here, Double D. Story of the year. I'll give the kid credit. I give credit where credit's due. It is a great story. I mean, I love it. Just a kid who is just, 100 nothing, 6 foot nothing, who defies all the odds and comes from nowhere and even loses his girl, and he still is able to overcome all that and win the belt. I mean, that's a great story. But, like every story, it has an ending, and his just isn't going to be all that happy. If it would have ended with him winning the championship, it would have been a great story, epic. But that's not the ending. The ending is him being just like everyone else, and me being the bronze bull like I am.
Well, you speak of not every story having a happy ending, and it might not be one for Double D, but you've got a lot going on between now and Chaotic Christmas because you're also booked in a lumberjack match.
Oh, yeah. The thing is, I'm gonna level with you. It wasn't but a few weeks ago when we had Halloween Hangover here in IZW, and I had a match with the owner of Impact Zone Wrestling, Johnny Z. And this match took place inside of a steel cage. And believe it or not, Johnny Z was the one who wanted this match to happen. And John learned, like most other people learn very quickly, that he was not in any way on my level. I won the match. And there's a lot of people who talk about what a good match it was and how they'd love to see it again. And, well, I don't like redundancies. I don't like seeing the same thing over and over. I like original, unique, new stuff. And despite all that, I'm going to have to go in this Saturday when we do a taping for Comcast Sports, and I'm going to have to whip this joker again, this time in the lumberjack match. Truthfully, I feel it's a waste of my time. It's a waste of the Bronze Bull's time. I should be preparing for Chaotic Christmas. I shouldn't have to be worried about this guy the owner of the company putting himself in a match with the biggest star in the company. Imagine that. That's never been done before, right? Oh, come on. Give me a break. But this is what I have to deal with. But you know what?
Well,
it's okay because it is a big match and I'm looking forward to it.
And you can look at it as a tune-up match. You can be like, hey, I already beat this guy once. I'll beat him a second time, and then I'm going to just be on a roll.
Oh, yeah. Momentum is a real thing in this business. It is a very real thing. And if Johnny Z wants to be the stepping stone that I use to create all the momentum that I'll need to go into Chaotic Christmas and become the 7-time IZW champion, fine. We'll let him be that stepping stone. We'll see how that works out for him. I don't think he's going to like it so much. I'm just glad he's going to have plenty of people around the ring to scrape his ass off the mat when I'm done with him.
Mm-hmm. That is, if Erica doesn't grind a heel into his backside and leave him on the mat face first before anybody can peel him off.
Let me tell you, that is a very real possibility. Madam Commissioner Erica does not mess around. Little shout out to her, hashtag yay me, Madam Commissioner Erica. She will get in there and she'll mix it up with the dude. She don't care. She ain't afraid of nobody. She ain't afraid of Johnny Z. She already took his company and kicked him out once. She ain't afraid of him.
That's very true. So not only could it be a chaotic Christmas this year, it could be an Impact Elite Christmas. It could be Merry Christmas all around.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to go on the line and I'm going to make a prediction and I'm going to make a promise right here. AngryMarks.com, Thursday night, AMP. It's happening. I'm making a bold prediction and a promise. The prediction that when we get to Chaotic Christmas, by the time we get there, Erica will have Double D in so much trouble by the time, with everything she has going against him, by the time Chaotic Christmas gets around, Double D is he's just gonna relinquish the title. He's not even gonna want to have any part of this match because he's gonna see what happens to Johnny Z this Saturday and he's just gonna give it up. That's the prediction. Now the promise is that this Saturday in a lumberjack match, Comcast taping against Johnny Z. If the Bronze Bull loses, because let me be candid here, it's not going to happen. But if it were to happen, I'd set myself on fire. That's how confident I am going into this match.
That is pretty damn confident. That's about as much confidence as I've heard in any interview on this site. And you mentioned Comcast several times, and that's another thing I wanted to touch on, because when we interviewed you last, the Comcast deal hadn't happened yet. And obviously, that's bringing the Impact Zone into a whole bunch of new homes. I believe something like 20 to 30 million viewers. So how awesome is that for you that you're getting this even bigger exposure when you combine Go Fight Live and Comcast to bring the world the Impact Zone?
I can't express in words how thankful I am that so many more people are exposed to me. That is such a great thing, not just for me and IZW, but that's a great thing for them and humanity as a whole, really. The more people that get to see the Bronze Bull be the Bronze Bull, the more this world is going to be a friendly place. It's going to be a good place to live. And, we had to start somewhere, right? We had to start somewhere. Now Comcast is helping us just stretch out and we're branching out so far. And here pretty soon, my kingdom will just be as far as my eyes can see.
Well, you've got the boldness for it. Oh, go ahead, Peter.
Would you say it's a fair comparison to compare the Bronze Bull to the brass body of Dave Bautista?
I'm glad you brought that up because, I saw Dave in that match of his, and I've seen matches, I've seen fights like that before. I had a grandmother once, and I think she was capable of delivering on that level. No, there's no comparison. He's brass. But first off, if anyone's going to use brass in their name, the only one who has that right is my protege, the apprentice of the Bronze Bull, Bobby Starr, the Brass Bull. He's the only one that has that kind of blessing for me.
Okay. I just you say you saw the Batista fight there with Dave Batista, the MMA fight. What did you think overall? Are you an MMA fan?
I am an MMA fan. I enjoy it quite a bit. I don't get to watch it as much as I would like to, but yeah, I do like it. Although it's been painful for me to watch ever since I lost a bet on a fight I had, or a fight that was had not too long ago. And I mean, who would have ever thought that Silva would have, beat Bonner? I put my money on Bonner. I was wrong. My bad.
Wow, first person I know that bet on Bonner.
Hey, with those kind of odds, you can't pass it. You can't pass it up.
Peter, I thought you were the one who predicted Bonner would win on this very show.
Did I pick Bonner? What do you think of the other fight before that?
No, I'm pretty sure you picked Bonner as the upset.
Did I pick Bonner? Oh, maybe I
I'm pretty
did.
sure.
I picked so many fights, to be honest, on this show and on Glove Up or Shut Up. I lose track sometimes, you know? Maybe it's all
Well,
the
don't
chair
worry
shots
about it,
I've
dude.
had.
Yeah, don't worry about it, man. You know, the way I see it, people like us, we're so busy being awesome at everything else, we have to be bad at some things, and betting is just one of them.
Did you have a chance to watch GSP a couple weeks ago?
I didn't. I really wish I would have been able to. I'm a GSP fan. I heard he looked pretty good. I heard it was a good fight. You know, I really, it has, at this point, with just as busy as my schedule has been, it has to be a really big deal for me to tune in. You know, someone call me when we get Jones Silva.
Now let me ask you this before I tag over back to Stevie. Who on the Impact Zone Wrestling roster do you think could easily make the switch from pro wrestling to mixed martial arts?
No question about it, Erica, and that's a shoot. That's legitimate. Erica is an MMA fighter, and she is a collegiate wrestler. Was a state champ. She's a shooter. She will tie people up in knots quick.
So you think she'd have a chance against Ronda Rousey in a UFC fight then?
Gesundheit. I don't know what the hell you just said, man. Who is that? Is that a chick fighter, I guess? I don't keep up with chick fighting.
Well, yeah, she's like the only one signed to UFC right now.
Yeah, like I said, man, it has to be a big fight. I don't know hardly anything outside of like the big pay-per-view fight that I haven't watched enough to know.
Right. Well, that's just the problem for her is that she hasn't made her debut in UFC yet. So she's big to people who've been following her career in the smaller companies, but she needs to make her big debut on the big stage.
Oh, well, I mean, that, you know, I hope she does good. I'll be honest, you know, generally when I want to watch girls fighting, it's usually in Jello or something like that. But yeah, I'd check it out just to see.
You know, I think that might be the one match I have yet to see booked on Go Fight Live is Erica or any of the other women of the Impact Zone in a Jello match.
I tell you, you know, Erica probably wouldn't lower herself to do that. But, you know, you might see Sean McHale, number one Sean McHale, in a Jello match if you're not careful. Ever since Hostess went down, he has been on hard times, man.
So you're saying he wouldn't
he'd
wrestle
do
in the
anything.
Jello. You're saying he would just straight up eat the Jello.
No, if he would eat the Jello, don't get me wrong, but he would wrestle in it if like the winner got a Twinkie or something, then watch out. I mean, he'd kill someone in the Jello for a Twinkie.
You know, Peter, I meant to ask you that. Has there been a hosted shortage in Canada, or is that not even distributed there?
It's distributed in different companies, so we will not have a Twinkie shortage here in Canada.
Oh, that's a shame. You don't even know the joy of a Twinkie.
No, we have them here, Stevie. It's just when Host is shut down, it won't affect Canada. We still have them on a regular basis here.
But they can't be real Twinkies if they're not made here in the States.
Well,
What are they called?
Next time
Are they
no,
Canadian
they're called
Twinkies?
Twinkies. No, they're regular Twinkies. Next time you come over, we'll have some.
Are they in French and English on the package? I mean, what's the deal here?
They're French and English on the package, yes.
Oh, that's tremendous. Well, yeah, I'll have to see him the next time I come that way. Oh, go ahead. I think Aaron has something to say.
Y'all lost hockey, but you got to keep Twinkies, so that's not too bad.
Yeah, I call that a fair trade.
And we got great beer here as well.
Yeah, that's a big bonus. I mean, here if you want to get Canadian, anywhere close to Canadian beer, you have to just fucking drink rubbing alcohol or something. I don't know. We have nothing that strong around here.
Yeah, we call American beer here water.
Yeah, I believe it. Y'all live up there where it's cold. You need something a little stronger. You don't get out much. You ain't got hockey. What the hell else are you gonna do? You got to be drunk to live in Canada.
Well, and to be fair, Peter, Europeans call American beer water too, so it's not like you have the quarter on that market.
No, I've heard that before from European friends of mine.
Yeah, if Austria were in the chat room, I'm sure he'd agree with us right now, but sadly he's not here tonight, so. But back to the Impact.
I love Canada.
We know. And we need more Comcast affiliates up there so that more people can see the Impact Zone, but.
Yeah, Comcast affiliates in Canada. Check out IZW, eh?
Absolutely. But back to the Impact Zone. I want to know, because you've already described Double D as being 6'0" nothing, 100-pound nothing, and yet he's the champion right now, and not rightfully champion. We've already discussed that, but at the same time, what could he possibly do to stop the juggernaut that is Aaron Neal coming at him come December 22nd?
Maybe he could just lull me into a sense of, just complete and total arrogance to the point where I take it for granted that he's even in the ring, and somehow he is able to diabolically rig the ring to collapse, and I would fall and break my neck, and then he could sneak over for the cover before my God powers kicked in and I pressed him off. Honestly, that's a weird question for me to answer because I don't really think there's anything he can do. I don't want to sound arrogant. I don't want to sound overconfident, but I'm awesome, and I'm awesome all the way around. There's no real weakness in my game, if you will. And I feel bad because people like Double D so much. He seems like such a nice guy. He just got dumped, and it's such a great story. And here I have to come and, I kind of feel almost like the bad guy. I know it's weird, but I almost feel like the bad guy. And I know I'm not the bad guy. I know I'm just doing what I was put here to do. And that is to just wreck Double D. That's my mission. That's what I'm here to do, is to wreck him and guys like him everywhere. They don't really belong in my ring. They don't belong in the ring with me for sure. And that's kind of the point that needs to be proven. And unfortunately, it's going to get drove home on poor Double D.
Well, I did think of one way that he could survive without rigging the ring, and this is a real long shot. But it would be if Jermaine Johnson did a run-in and clothesline you. That might be the only way he'd have a chance.
Jermaine Johnson is not, he looks dumb, but he's not that dumb. I promise you. The last thing he wants to do is wave a red flag in front of a bull, and that's exactly what would happen. He'd be a marked man. Not to mention, come on, man, give me some credit. I am with the elite group in all of wrestling, which is Impact Elite. You really think they're going to let some dude from the back just run out and do something to me? Come on, man. It's almost offensive.
Yeah, that's true. It's probably highly unlikely that that's going to happen, but I never say never in the world of professional wrestling because we both know stranger things than that have happened. We've seen people come up through the ring and pull wrestlers down to hell. I mean, anything can happen in wrestling.
Yeah, anything could happen except for Double D beating me. That's really stretching it. I mean, come on, man. It's not likely. It's just not going to happen.
Well, okay, let's just move on then. Let's assume that Double D is not going to win and the title is yours. Are you going to offer him a rematch, or is that ass beating going to be so thorough you're going to move on to the next contender and say no rematch?
Oh, hey, I have never been the type of person who ducks any kind of a challenge or who runs away from anyone. That's not the Bronze Bull game. What is my style is to allow people to have the freedom of choice. And the fact that sometimes people don't know what's good for them. So you have to make those tough decisions when you're in a position of power like I constantly am. So what I would do was deliver an ultimatum to Double D, which would be, if you were dumb enough and masochistic enough to want a rematch with me, you, in turn, would have to then promise to waive all liability from IZW, Impact Elite, Madam Commissioner Erica, and the Bronze Bull. Because, frankly, it would just be a travesty. But that won't ever happen because, just like everyone else, once Double D gets a taste of me one-on-one, a rematch is the last thing that dude's going to want.
That's kind of where I was going with that, is that you'll steamroll him so bad on December 22nd, he won't even invoke the rematch clause. So maybe you'll have to do something like the Raw active poll, where you have an Impact active poll and ask people, do you want Double D to get that rematch, or would you rather he face somebody else? Because he might not go for it himself.
On the surface, you would think that would be a good idea. But again, sometimes people aren't smart enough to make the good decisions for themselves. And you'd have a bunch of people who would be like, yeah, even though Double D is almost crippled at this point, let's face it, that's what's going to happen. We should put him back in the ring with the same dude who just almost beat the bejesus out of him in front of everyone. People are dumb enough to vote for something like that. And frankly, it would be irresponsible for me, for Madam Commissioner Erica, for anyone to condone those kind of things. The people aren't really smart enough to know what they need or really want.
Well, I certainly can't argue there, so I'm going to turn it over to Peter because he has a question for you. Peter, go ahead.
All right, I got a random question here for you. What would be the match in IZW that you are most proud of?
The match that I'm most proud of. Man, that's the thing. When you have so many awesome matches, you kind of do an injustice to those other matches when you create these lists or my favorites or things like that. I will say this. Each match is always better than the previous one. I just keep getting better. So I would say my last match was my greatest match. But if you were asking me again, in a couple of days, it would be a different answer. I'm constantly evolving. I'm constantly getting better. Each match is better than the next or the last. That's a really tough question. And really, it'd be tough to even ask fans. It wouldn't be fair to ask fans to choose just one of my matches that would be their favorite. That's kind of a weird question. I'm sorry I couldn't answer it completely.
Well, I think that's a good actual note to wrap it up on, though, because your best match will be your next match. It'll either be the one you have where you whip Johnny Z in the Lumberjack match, or it'll be the one where you steamroll Double D at Chaotic Christmas. So let's get those plugs out there. Let's tell people how they can win.
Get to Chaotic Christmas, I'll be so damn good you won't even know. It'll just be like, because in a couple days that's going to be my best match, and then like a week from that it'll be my best match again. It's a constant vicious cycle, really.
Absolutely. So if people want to see the greatest match and then the greatest match after that, tell them where and how they can tune in so they won't miss the awesomeness of Aaron Neal.
Well, the thing is, if you're not on this thing we're calling the IZW movement, then you're just getting left behind, because we are taking over the wrestling world. If you want to watch us every Saturday live and you're in the Lawton, Oklahoma area, come to the Impact Arena, 7 o'clock bell time, every stinking Saturday, whether you like it or not. We are there having the best wrestling that there is, period. And if you can't make it in person, if you can't see this event in person, you've got to go to GFL.tv and you have to buy it. $4.99 every week on GFL to watch the action in your own home. The production value is second to none. We offer a television product that is comparable to anything you've ever seen from any other wrestling company, period. And if you're lucky enough to live in the Comcast viewing area, which is in the Northeast, then you can tune in, if you check your local listings, to see all kinds of IZW action in prime time on Comcast Sports. And in the meantime, if you just can't get your fill, if you need your fix of the Bronze Bull, follow me on Twitter, BronzeBull_AN at Twitter. And then, hey, check me out on Facebook, the Bronze Bull Aaron Neal at Facebook. Check me out. I'm going to be tweeting about this show immediately. I want everyone to do themselves a favor and listen, because it will change your lives.
Absolutely. So when he posts it, he just had a spectacular match with Johnny Z or Double D and you missed it, then you got to reply #Impact_Elite, and then you got to go find the replay and watch it. But do yourself a favor and don't even have that be a problem. See it live when it happens. Right, Aaron?
That's right. Come see it live. And don't forget, this Saturday, Lumberjack match, main event, the Bronze Bull versus Johnny Z. If I lose, I will set myself on fire. You heard it.
All right. Well, that's a promise that I honestly hope you don't have to live up to, because we don't want to see you go up in flames. So I'm hoping for good things this Saturday, and best of luck to you.
Well, thank you. I don't need luck. Luck is for losers. But I'll tell you what, if something happens, the heavens part, the gods strike me down in the middle of the match, and somehow I lose and I have to set myself on fire, I will grant you guys at Thursday night AMP, angrymarks.com, the first interview with the Crispy Critter, Aaron Neal.
All right. I guess we'll be doing that interview for the hospital bed. But again, I don't think that's happening. So you won't need luck. You'll just need to go out. You'll just go do what you do best, and we'll see that on Saturday. So thanks, Aaron. We appreciate the time tonight.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure for y'all to have me.
Thanks, Aaron.
All right. So that was our interview with IZW's Aaron Neal, and we're going to take a brief break and come back for our annual tradition, the Golden Turducken Award. You're listening to Thursday Night AMP.
Hi folks, producer Killer Kev here. If you want to listen to Angry Marks Podcast Network shows on your smartphone, then you need smart radio. And to do that, you have to get the Stitcher Smart Radio application. Stitcher allows you to listen to your favorite shows directly on your iPhone, Android, or WebOS phone. And you not only hear all the great shows from the Angry Marks Podcast Network, you can hear on-demand news, talk, and more right there on your phone. Go to Stitcher.com/AngryMarks and download it today. The Stitcher smartphone app. That's Stitcher.com/AngryMarks.